Hello, you beautiful nerds. I am Jedi Master Grayson, and
this is your boy Bill, and this is our new show, Does It Hold Up?
This is the show where we revisit classic genre films to see if they're as good as we remember or if they are as bad as we remember. And we might get drunk while we do it.
They could be both.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm here as always. I'm here as always with Bill, but we also as per usual, we have our special guest to help us as a potential tiebreaker here as we vote on which movie is going to be going into the Drunk Banthas film archives as whether it holds up or not. We are here with special guest, actor, comedian, artist, just all around great entertainer, and he's got a very impressive physique, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
I have
you.
to say,
well, that's
I have to say that because he told me to say that.
That felt like that was very genuine. I think that came off the top of your head there. I think that was came off the top of your head. Yeah.
Great. Guys, welcome to the show. Noah Lance. Noah, thanks for showing up today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Happy
He
to
doesn't
be here.
slouch, I must say.
I try really hard not to
doesn't
slouch. I try really hard not to slouch.
These guys don't slouch.
He don't slouch. He's no slouch.
I got told that a lot growing up. So, damn, I'm straight.
Today, guys, we're talking about some really rad teenagers with attitude. We're going way back to 1995 and talking about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers film.
Gnarly, bro.
Based off of the television series that started in 1993, and obviously 2 years in, had huge success. And they decided they'd make their first feature-length film.
It's Morphin time! Triceratops!
Dragon shit!
You know, it has a 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb, 32% of critics on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 32% critics score rating on Rotten Tomatoes, a 56% audience rating.
Wow.
It's not great ratings, but it's kind of mixed reviews when it comes to critics. Like some critics saw it for exactly what it was. I didn't have high expectations for it. Kevin Thomas from the LA Times said, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie brings a popular TV series to the screen with a barrage of spectacular effects, a slew of fantastic monsters, a ferociously funny villain, and most importantly, a refreshingly lack of pretentiousness. So this guy seems like he, enjoyed the movie just as
His rating, I didn't hate it.
Yeah, but Roger Ebert, he had a completely different vibe. He said Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie is about as close as you can get to absolutely nothing and still have a product to project on screen.
Wow.
So he did.
Damn, Roger.
He did not.
Damn, Roger. That is harsh.
I mean,
I like it. I like how he said that. Not that I agree or disagree, but I just like how he said that. Very
that's
good.
Pretty
that was
brutal.
Poignant.
Honestly, it's
no
pretty
wonder
brutal.
he was rich for making comments about movies.
Man,
that was brutal.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
close
well written.
to nothing as you could be and still say you had a product.
This is a guy who doesn't
movie,
enjoy
by
kung
the way,
fu.
also, I guess we should point out, this movie made money.
Yeah,
it
did. It earned a total gross of $66.4 million on a $15 million budget. So
pretty good.
It was
Damn near an independent film.
I knew it was going to. At that time when it came out, Power Rangers were crazy popular. So you're sitting on a bunch of money. It don't have to be a good movie because because that people are going to come no matter
TV
what.
show, not really that great.
Yeah.
TV show is pretty awful. And like you said, it was very, very popular. But also a weird thing that was popular at the time were ninja movies. Like we had Surf Ninjas and Three Ninjas, Ninja Turtles.
All which will be premiering on this series.
Wow.
It was weirdly ninjas were in the zeitgeist, so I think that helped to push.
We're doing all of those.
Yeah.
All of those movies.
It was gonna do a ninja miniseries.
That's interesting.
For Does This Hold Up?
That makes sense, right? It's like, let's make the Power Rangers into ninjas for a little bit.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, let's dive into that ninja realm. They're basically ninjas anyway.
Yeah, they kind of are because
they do all the acrobatic shit. Yeah. Speaking of all the acrobatics, let's get into the movie.
We start out with a very acrobatic scene at the very beginning of the movie. We're going to jump out and skydive because that's what we do as teenagers, as normal things.
Right, that's just a normal thing we do to raise money or something. I don't know what they were.
No, they were just hanging.
Who are these kids that they like got the whole city waiting on them to jump into a target?
Yeah, that was okay.
Okay,
yeah.
wait. So at the beginning they participate, like the Power Rangers and Bulk and Skull participate in a charity skydive for the Angel Grove Observatory in anticipation of the Ryan's Comet, which is scheduled to pass by in 2 days, which is a big plot point in this movie. Actually,
it actually does. It does tie into.
I actually don't remember even that being a part.
I don't
of the
even
movie.
remember them.
yeah, that must have been
either.
like a one-line thing.
But I don't. Yeah.
Full disclosure: we literally just watched this fucking movie.
Okay, I guess
And this smoke that you see is marijuana smoke that you see around.
Yeah.
So the only, I feel like the only significance of that would be is like, oh, there's a prophecy that like when Orion's Comet comes by at this time or whatever, an evil will awaken. It never mentions anything like that, but like that feels like the only way I could justify.
No, I think that they had to have mentioned it. We just missed it.
I just don't remember that being. I was just like, okay, these are some hip teenagers,
right? It is very strange. Like I think that's just very distracting in and of itself. Like even if they were talking about like why they were doing it, like it's still kind of thin that it's like, oh, to raise money in awareness of a comet showing up in 2 days. Yeah. Let's throw a bunch of teenagers out of an airplane.
Yeah,
like it still doesn't
why
track.
These teenagers?
Why? And they're all in their Power Rangers colors too.
Yeah, they're all like Power Rangers cosplay.
Similar designs, like the diamonds and stuff like that.
It's incredible.
And then they jump out of the airplane. They do amazing flips. They're really cool. They land in the, I guess what you said, like an open air mall or something like that. And everybody loves it.
It's
and
really
then
weird.
They're just like skating now. They're like inline skating.
Let's do the next cool thing to some more cool music.
Just your average Saturday for these kids. First we go skydiving and then we pull out our skates.
I mean, not gonna lie, when I was a not teenager, I thought, I guess this is what teenagers do.
Yeah,
you know?
I guess I need to go get some
can't wait
rollerblades.
to be a teenager and like
great.
have friends that like go do stuff like rollerblading and like play basketball, and, like hike and like go skydiving and vault jumping.
They're extreme sports kids.
Yeah. All these kids went off to compete in the X Games.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like very like you could see how kids could appeal to this. All these flashy colors. These teenagers are jumping all over the place. It's all these kids are cool.
And they're not dressed terribly either for the time. Well, they're like pretty much.
Yeah, well, they're in a matching outfit, which is interesting too. I wish me and my buds would just be like, "Hey, let's all wear matching outfits and go hang out. And do killer sports stuff."
They do. They do look like they're like about to be in a Gap.
It's like Tommy calls it. It's almost like Tommy calls everybody and says, "Hey guys, let's wear like similar matching outfits."
Like, Tommy, come on, man, we look lame. So I bought all these outfits for us guys,
but then he shows up and he's the only one not wearing anything. Like anybody.
They all show up in the outfits. He's like, "What the fuck, Tommy? Why didn't you wear yours?"
Like, fuck you, I do what I want.
Sorry, I spilled Coca-Cola on it, bro.
That's right, bitch. Remember, I'm the fucking White Ranger.
Oh man.
But yeah, then like later, Bulk and Skull, they completely missed the mark because they waited too long to jump out the plane. So they land in a construction site. And that's where we see these construction workers unearth a giant purple egg that is being held by like a weird metal hand.
A weird metal dragon hand.
Yeah. What did you guys think of this whole like scene like where we introduced the ominous threat?
Yeah.
And we see the construction worker get shot with a blast.
Before we get to that, I want to ask you guys. So far, we've jumped out of an airplane.
Oh, it's been radical.
We've rollerbladed.
Right.
Radical.
We've been alerted to some type of something that's going to happen.
Yeah.
We got to go see Zordon.
Uh-huh.
So far, does it hold up?
I mean, it's totally rad. I'll describe it. Nothing, so far story-wise, we've learned nothing.
Yeah. No, it's
It's just basically, I would say, if it was the writer, they were just like, okay, here's 5 cool kids. These kids are cool. Now let's move over to a bad guy. So, okay, I think this is an interesting point to bring up. Apparently, when they were writing it, they couldn't have anything that would take away from the show, right? So they couldn't have the characters go through any emotional arcs that they couldn't do in the show. They couldn't do any romantic things that would change the tone of the show as it went on, and they also couldn't have their characters like change too much. So the show, you could take out the whole movie, changes nothing about the ongoing show.
Right.
And they wrote it like that. Like, the Power Rangers are all just kind of hip kids, and that's it. There's really no more personality to them.
They're really not even supposed to have any kind of, like, character arcs or any kind of, like, involvement with each other. Like, it's just, like, it's a really weird way to choose to write characters.
You're kind of
just... Your star characters are not supposed to have any personality. So I guess with that in mind, would you say that it holds up so far? This is a show of hindsight, so it's okay. Whatever you say now doesn't hold you. It doesn't hold you responsible for your ending opinion later.
I'm
just asking you, how do you think it? Do you think that those scenes were worked out? I'm just saying, quickly, Alex. Yes, sir.
Yeah, initial thoughts. Yeah, like I
was in. I guess I was in.
Yeah, very into this first part.
I thought it was weird, but it was still cool. But like, I still don't. Like I said, I didn't remember even hearing that part about. The Orion's comet. Yeah. But okay, you say it happened because they say it happened. So
not Orion's, just Ryan's comet.
Oh, Ryan's comet.
Just Ryan's comet.
Ryan's comet.
Yeah. Ryan's comet.
All right, now I'm not fucking with it. Doesn't hold up. It gets a no from me so far. So go ahead. Continue.
Just Ryan's. Yeah. So
Ryan.
Well, they uncover a cool.
Might as well have been called Brian's comet.
Yeah.
Tony's comet.
Greg's comet.
Greg's comet.
Here comes Kevin's comet.
It feels very unceremonious.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. So there's a dragon hand with an egg.
They uncover. It's like it looks like a sewer grate at first with a dragon face, and then it goes up and a big plastic hand comes out holding a giant egg.
Yeah, at first it looks like it's the Ninja Turtles lair, but no, it's a different movie.
I was like, a crossover.
Wasn't there a Turtles Power Rangers crossover in the TV show? I'm almost positive that there was one.
Let's just keep going. We
cannot fit this world. It fits.
But anyway, then later on, what happens?
Well, no, right after that, so Zed and Rita show up.
Oh yeah,
and they're like, "Yo, there's this egg. Oh, you want me to come down here so we can get an egg?" And then Zed is like, "Bitch, shut up. I've been looking for this egg for 2,000 years or whatever."
Yeah.
So then, boom, they crack the egg, and what's inside of it?
Just goop.
You've been searching for 2,000 years for a bowl of snot.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But that bowl of snot is none other than our savior in this movie.
Yeah.
Our fucking...
He's the main
villain. Ivan Ooze. And is it Ivan Ooze or is it Ivan's Ooze? It's just Ivan, right?
Yeah, it's Ivan Ooze, yeah. Ivan J. Ooze.
I don't know. James Ooze.
I love it. James is for Jehoshaphat.
Yeah, Ivan Ooze, like his character really saves the movie for sure. Played by Paul Freeman, who was Belloc, the villain from Raiders of the Lost Ark. So he's like obviously a really great actor. But playing a different character in this. Like, I think you mentioned off pod that he's like got a very Mel Brooks
He
vibe.
does. He has such a Mel Brooks vibe. It felt like his character archetype he was going for was like yeah, there is kind of some Robin Williams-y vibes of like he's doing weird voices and stuff. And I don't know, it just feels like he was just trying to have as much fun as possible. Yeah. But his character arc was like Grand Wizard, who is played by Mel Brooks, who's like a kind of a funny old Jewish man. I feel like that's the trope or the shtick, I would have to say, the stereotype. It feels a little stereotypical. He didn't throw in any Yiddish, but I felt like he was real close.
Yeah, it was definitely had that vibe.
But he was fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. He was the best part of the movie. Like, what did you think of Ivan Ooze, Bill?
motherfucking savior of the whole show, the whole movie. You know what? Should have kept him, you know? They should have let him be continuity through the rest of the TV show, you know? Like, let's get this guy back on. Let's keep Ivan Ooze as
he's probably the only person who's paid well on this set.
Probably.
Yeah, because he was actually union. They probably had to actually pay him like more than he probably could have gotten paid union. They probably had to pay him more because it's a non-union movie.
He's so big in the movie. He's so cartoonish. But also, we were talking about it, and if he tried to play it seriously, it would be the worst movie ever.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody's so serious.
Everyone's playing it so serious, but it looks ridiculous. And so,
but to your point earlier, like they're playing it so the Power Rangers characters are playing it so serious because they don't have any arc. They don't have any way to be anything.
Right.
So, like, knowing that now, I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe they didn't really have such bad performances because...
They were fine.
I don't think that they're any bad.
No, I'm saying I used to think that.
Right.
They have a lot of really bad quips. There's a lot of bad
there's
quips.
Some bad lines.
Their attitude.
They stand out more because they don't actually say anything else of substance, like those bad quips. Which is just, that brings us to this first fight scene. It's like just full of them getting their ass kicked with a bunch of bad quips.
Yeah.
Bad, terrible jokes. But I do love the completely overused gymnastics and backflips.
There's
man. Yeah, there's a lot of that. A lot of unnecessary backflips, which I love.
It's so funny.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's hilarious.
It's ridiculous.
But I think to a certain degree, there is like a part of Power Rangers that makes fun of itself.
Yeah.
Like the over enthusiastic hand motions.
Everything. Just like
it's funny, like watching
Power Ranger mode.
It's funny watching this versus like the Mandalorian, where there will be times where I'm like, I kind of wish there was a little bit more helmet acting, where a little bit more expressiveness or movement.
Yeah.
And then this is on the complete other side of the spectrum, where there's movements for every single statement.
Every
it's just
single statement.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's really bad. And there's a scene. I don't know if we're to that yet, but they show up with their suits or their chains and everything. But they backflip to the point Kimberly's still a few feet behind him, and he'll be like, "Kimberly, I'm on my way!" Backflip to her, and then throw in just a twirl, throws in a twirl. Yeah. Be like, "How are you doing? You okay?" And it's you would have gotten there so much faster if you had just turned and said hello to me. It was.
Yeah, you could have just ran over here. It would save a lot of time. You probably wouldn't be dizzy right now.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, give me a second."
Now, see, there is a scene in this movie where if you guys look up right now, they went back to the television shows thing. They did a trope from the television show where they transformed and they did these backflips. Yeah. They front flips. Flips over a camera. And I was like, man, we got to do that shot. We got to recreate that shot outside somewhere.
It's pretty great.
I got to use that shot in a music video or something. Because that shot is just iconic, but it's also so cheap and easy to do.
Yeah, you just lay a camera down on the ground. All right, you guys just kind of flip over it or something.
Yeah, it was a nice nod to that they do in those TV shows all the time. Anytime they need to jump really, really far, jump from the ground into their Zords, they'll just use that shot.
It's
over.
amazing. Yeah. It's an amazing shot.
There's a lot of
shot in Hollywood.
There's a lot of flips will start, and then it'll cut to them landing in a way where you're like, how did you get from this point to that point? Their leg, their face will be facing the ground, and then it'll cut to their feet on the ground.
Right. It defies logic completely.
They can just turn in the air whenever
they're clearly capable of teleportation to some degrue.
Oh, man.
It's like Goku. We were talking about Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, yeah. He's got that instant transmission.
It's he just he just moves so fast.
But they don't it's
like that SpongeBob joke, you want to see me run from
you ain't see me do it again.
Yeah,
it's like that.
It's ridiculous. By the way, I just want to say this. Maybe this isn't interesting, and you can cut this out of the podcast entirely. But one reason Power Rangers, every action looks so ridiculous.
Yeah,
is because naturally, I was just thinking about this as I was watching it. The brain tells the body what to do before your mouth can say what it is. So. Physicalizations come out before the words do. Right. But everything the Power Rangers do, everything's right when they say the word, so it feels super false. Yeah. But really, they should be now do the thing. You know what I mean?
It doesn't. Yeah, it feels like they're definitely intentionally try to put an exclamation point.
Yeah, because they're like, "What are you saying? I can't hear you through this head. Can you like gesture a little more? Who's talking right now? I'm hearing you through the head. Who is it? Is it you? It's awful. I'm sorry. It's so ridiculous.
No. But you know what? Just on like it's perfect because like right as we get all this ridiculous Power Ranger stuff, we get Ivan Ooze again. Here it is, save the day again.
Good segue.
Yeah, Zordon makes his way over to the command center, gives Alpha 5 the zap. And
Ivan.
Ivan. Sorry, yeah. Ivan, he goes to Zordon's command center.
Oh, man.
Gives Alpha 5 the zap. And
Alpha 5. I always forgot his name.
Yeah.
Man, that's got to be racist.
Something like that.
That's your Latino representation in Power Rangers is fucking Alpha 5.
That's awful. I said to them, I was like, I remembered Alpha being way cooler than this. He just felt so annoying. Like, oh, God, here comes Alpha 5 again. Oh, jeez.
Guys, you're an embarrassment, Alpha. I wish you didn't beat that cancer, Alpha. I really do.
That's why I wear this suit.
But yeah, Ivan destroys the command center, incapacitating Zordon, and he robs the Rangers, and that robs the Rangers of their powers. So then the Rangers return to the command center, and then they find out that Zordon is dying.
Yeah, I always thought this was interesting. Have we ever had a depiction of Zordon outside of the tube except for this movie?
This is the first. Yeah, this is definitely the first time.
Don't know if it happened after this.
Don't know if it happened after this. Yeah, I never kept up with the series. Yeah. But watching it, I was like, oh, wait, is Zordon a computer? Like, what is he? He's kind of odd. His voice feels weird. His face is weird. But then they shatter it, and it reveals like a very, very pale, wrinkly man.
Yeah.
In a tube of crystals.
Right. Which is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Because
I was cool with it. I like that part.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't answer like a whole lot of questions. You still wonders like, well, what's wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
Like, why do you have to hang out in this tube and everything?
It's how you live to be 6,000 years old.
I guess so.
Or 12,000 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, he's keeping it.
So, I mean, well, they did mention, there's a we allude to, because later we'll talk about Delcia. She says that like if she leaves that place, then she'll start to age the same as Zordon does. So maybe, I don't know, like there's like some sort of connection to like wherever he got the power, and because he left that place and came to Earth, now he has to be in this weird tube.
Power. Great power.
There's like some interesting lore here that's like kind of tapped into.
He looks like a good Palpatine. He's very wrinkly.
kind-hearted
Palpatine.
Palpatine with the Force.
But it does give like it kind of humanizes Zordon in a weird way, actually.
Yeah.
Because suddenly you're like, oh wait, he's like ill and he needs to stay in this tube thing to stay alive. Like without it, he's completely useless. And I was like, oh, I never ever felt bad or any emotions towards this character before until actually this moment.
Yeah, might have actually saved the movie.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Yeah, there are little things.
One of the things.
Yeah,
there are little things that definitely make it help it hold up, or like help it stand the test of time. Like we were talking about production design too. Like there are a lot of little things that they like in the set design, or like when you see alien language and like Rocky's visor, or like his scanner is like, oh, that's an interesting touch. Stuff like that is like you could tell that there's like cool attention to detail.
Those are also things that you never saw in the television.
Yeah. They gave new abilities to the Power Rangers.
Those were cool things. Those are those things added up. I'm gonna say so far that part held up.
This is some interesting ideas.
That part held up. So you know what? Maybe we get one didn't held up and another it held up so far.
Well, that was an interesting take for me. Like him showing up and destroying Zordon, losing abilities. I was actually kind of like, oh, I didn't think that would happen.
Right.
So they got me there. Got me there.
So then Zordon's assistant Alpha 5 sends the Rangers to a distant planet of Phaedos to obtain the great power and save Zordon's life. But back on the moon, Ivan usurps Rita and Zed by shrinking them and trapping them in a snow globe, which we were talking about before as like kind of a weird. He's been trapped
for 6,000 years, and he knows like the Brady Bunch, and he knows.
Oh yes,
he knows what snow globes are. He loves snow globes, I guess.
Yeah,
exactly.
But he's been trapped for 6,000 years.
But Hollywood made sure he knows those things.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I bet whoever made this movie had some some kind of investment in all of those movies, like some kind of way.
Yeah, it's very in tune with pop culture for some reason. I think mainly for just the adults' enjoyment, like having to watch this with their kids.
The Brady Bunch reunion was dope, though. Yeah, not gonna lie.
It was the highlight of my childhood. And then he forces Goldar and that pig guy Mordant to be his servants. And then he sends the Tengu Warrior. Then he sends the Tengu Warriors to go after the Power Rangers on Phaedos, and those are those like weird
crow people. Yeah,
which we all said we would have loved to have been an extra.
Yeah, man, I'd love to be a bird person.
Didn't have much of a. They were having a lot of fun. Didn't have much of a. They should have been able to be in the show longer, or in the movie. Yeah, they should have been in the movie a lot more. I think.
Yeah, they had a lot of personality.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they had their own theme song. I like that bass line. Like they had that shit was cold as fuck. And they had some interesting voices, which we'll get into later. Yeah. But no, actually, let's just talk about that now. That like the voice acting for like the two crow guys.
There's a scene.
One guy's talking like,
and I think this does happen a little later in it, but we don't have to focus on the crow people too much.
No, yeah, I was like, I don't want to have to go back to the crow people. We can just talk about it now.
Yeah, so he's Ivan's like, what happened to the Power Rangers? Did you stop them? And one of them, very typical crow voice, like, nah, and it was like, and it cuts into the other crow person who has like a weird John Wayne impression.
Yeah, we threw him off a cliff and down a rolling river.
Feels like a normal guy doing a really bad John Wayne impression.
Yeah,
just feels super casual. Like the other one's like, the other guy's like, we threw him off a cliff into a river.
Couldn't have been more off-putting if it had been JB Smooth's voice. Like, it was so out of the way.
It's so weird.
We threw him down the river. You know what I'm saying? We took him and we threw him down the river.
It was very
You ain't never gonna see them no more, Jack.
He sounded like right Billy Crudup was like, he was under the suit or something like that.
Ridiculous.
It's crazy. It was wild, man. They could have did anything with that voice, obviously, and they did it.
Well, they only gave him one line. They're like, that's enough.
It's like, listen.
Okay, well, we'll do your John Wayne impression. That's enough.
But then back on Phaedos, the Rangers are almost killed by the Tengu Warriors, but they're rescued by Dulcia.
The star of the movie.
Yeah, another person who's like, really helps the film a lot. She's
a swimsuit model who shows up out of nowhere.
Emerges in a
cloak. Shows up in a cloak, right?
Yeah,
deep hood, like a staff, looks like a wizard. Jumps down and casts off her robe to reveal her swimsuit model attire. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's so funny. Like,
it's like why were you wearing the cloak? What was the cloak for?
Right. You never see her wear it again.
She never picks it back up. She just got rid of it. She just left it where it was.
It's like, you're not cold. It's nighttime now. You don't want to put this cloak on? Where's that cloak you had?
Well, little do you know, it's because she doesn't need a cloak because she's an owl.
Yeah, anytime she gets cold, she just turns into an owl.
Which is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to ask a question.
Here it
I'm going to ask a question for the people.
Okay, this is,
You guys got to answer it too. You got to say it quick. Got to make this quick. This is a yes or no question. Would you have sex with a lady, a swimsuit model, if you knew she could turn into an owl? If you knew she could turn into an owl.
Yeah, because
that's pretty cool.
You can't have sex with her while she's an owl.
No.
Well, I would rather not, to be honest.
I don't think it would be good for anyone, honestly.
If I'm being totally honest, I prefer not to.
It'd be good for anyone.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I don't discriminate.
I don't think it wouldn't turn me off. Unless, like I said before, I got there and I'm like, hey, there's like owl pellets all over the bed and dead rats everywhere. You gotta clean this up or I'm not gonna be down for this. There's an owl in the corner. Is that your bud? Is that your roommate? Or your parents? I don't know who this owl is.
Owl is like turning this way.
And she's like, it's just a normal owl, babe. Yeah. I just don't trust. Why do you? It's just weird.
Why does he keep looking like this though?
Do you
Why does he
know
keep looking?
him?
He keeps looking.
It's just strange. Yeah, that's my answer.
He's turning around, but he keeps looking over here.
His head keeps spinning back around at me.
But yeah, I did really like this character, and like this actress is actually pretty good.
She's cool.
Yeah,
she was good.
What was her name? Damn, I already forgot.
Delphina.
Yeah, Dulcia.
Dulcina.
She was played by. Gabrielle Fitzpatrick. Really weird story behind that. Do you remember?
She had an ovarian cyst in the beginning of shoot, and then she got get recast for one of the detectives on Law and Order SVU.
Yeah, Mariska Hargitay.
And then they watched the footage. They're like, nah.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, as good as she is, and as nice as a person she is, this sucks.
This is not working. It's not working.
Let's go back to. You know what it was? She has a British accent.
Yeah, that British accent pushes
up the top. She got that British accent.
Is that what it was?
Sauce on it. It put that sauce on it because I bet their performances were exactly the same.
I bet they're pretty similar. Mariska Hargitay is good.
One of them is a British actress and the other one is not.
Yeah,
I think it was like, well, the other girl can transform into an owl, so that feels like a plus to me. That feels like a plus to me. She's just a person all the time.
That's definitely what it was. I retract my entire statement.
And also, she's a great lay. No, sorry.
I'm the one who gave her the ovarian.
The director's really into owls. The director's super into owls.
I gave her those ovarian cysts. That's why she's.
Yeah, but what a cold-blooded move for both people. Like, I feel like both women in that role should be so mad. Like, oh, you're gonna recast me. And then you're gonna cast me back, and the other girl will be mad. Like, what?
Right? It's like one of the many weird horror stories.
It's one of those things where they don't really get mad because they get mad that they're not in the movie, probably, but they still get paid.
They got paid, but like,
I just happen to be acting.
Yeah, I guess, but like, she could have. That could have helped launch her career. I'm
sure at that time she wasn't in SVU before that.
Yeah,
I'm sure at that time, it was very emotionally taxing for them. I mean, for both of them. But yeah, it's like one of those things I'm sure they just kind of chalk up to the games. Like, oh man, funny story about that movie.
And that took months too, right? Like,
yeah.
And by the time they didn't like the second girl's performance, it had been months, so they were like, oh, she's over her cyst. Let's get her back in here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it was such weird. And it's you hear stories about that kind of shit all the time where the studios will fire someone because they don't have, like, it doesn't fit into their schedule, but then shit goes wrong like they always do in Hollywood, and then like that actor becomes available again, that they just have to hire him back. It's like so much money is wasted in Hollywood over just impatience.
Ridiculous.
But anyway, like back to, what's her name? Dulcia.
Back to the movie again. Back to the movie again. Back to the movie again.
Dulcia, she tells the Rangers about the great power. Where is it?
She's suspicious. They show up on the planet. There's a dead skeleton.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's got like a DBZ visor on it to read power levels. So it's like an alien that traveled to this place to also seek the power and die, which she warns people about. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, well, but Zordon says, she's like, whoa. Did you say Zordon? How do you know about Zordon?
Yeah.
That's not Talos right there.
No, that's not Ben Mendelsohn. I looked it up. It's not.
Who is this dude?
But yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. He's rewatching the movie.
I got it going right now. I'm like, watch
it's up here. It's
while
we
rewatching, while we talk about it.
Sorry, continue about the power.
Parts.
No. Like you mentioned, they mentioned Zordon to Dulcia, and then she's like, what? And then they mentioned Ivan Ooze. She's like, Ivan Ooze is free? Oh shit. So they go back to the crib, and she agrees to help them and takes them to the ancient ruined temple where the Rangers will have to overcome obstacles to acquire the power of the Ninjetti. Like we were saying, ninjas. It's ninja time. It's the time of the ninjas. We have to have ninjas in this movie.
Ninja Mega Morphin Power.
Dulcia awakens each Ranger's animal spirit. Aishi is the bear, Rocky is the ape, Billy is the wolf, Kimberly is the crane, Adam is the frog, and Tommy is the falcon. Woo! Of course, Tommy gets to be the coolest one. Mm-hmm. What did you think of like everybody's like animal spirits
Falcon,
and like
baby.
this whole scene where everybody
Falcon,
gets their powers?
As a kid, it's cool. It's always like fun being bestowed a power upon you that represents an animal. It's weird. I'm like, this is an alien planet. We're using like Earth creatures for this alien planet.
I'm gonna tell you, when it's cool when you're a kid until you're outside playing with all your friends, and it's the exact same amount of you that there needs to be Power Rangers. But nobody wants to be the frog. Nobody wants to be the red. Nobody wants to be the ape. Nobody wants to be a crane.
What's even worse, in the movie, she goes up and is like, you are the ape, you are strong yet smart. And then he goes and you are crane, you are swift and agile. And then he gets the frog, and she's like, oh, people like to kiss you, I guess. Turns into a prince, and then they move on. She moves on, and he's left like, wait a minute. Why am I a frog though?
That's a very sex sells situation.
You are the frog. Your legs taste good when fried in deep grease.
You've got those long dancer's legs.
He felt really. He felt really good about that up until like later that night after he masturbated. He's like, wait, hold a second. This is. I'm a frog.
Wait a minute.
I
still don't know why I'm a frog. Why? Am I ugly?
No, we all know that Adam was the one who got to smash Del Cena or Del Cia.
It felt like she was like, oh, I was expecting 4 of you, not 5. And she was like, you are the... you're a toad. And he's like, what?
What?
There's a lot of other cooler animals I could be.
Yeah, it's like, can I be a cheetah or something like this?
No.
But yeah, then the Power Rangers predictably go and they go fight some monsters like the stone gargoyles and the bone monsters, and they get the great power.
Yeah, they find some pretty good looking bone monsters, by the way. Practical effects.
Yeah, practical effects are pretty good.
And they're not too bad. They weren't too bad.
You know what? Absolutely.
They weren't too bad. There's a lot of cuts.
Stuff like that were not bad.
There was a lot of cuts.
Oh wait,
and single
the only
shots
thing that was bad was
tails.
in this movie, as far as effects and stuff like that, was the wire acts.
The wire acts.
The wire work was really shoddy.
Wire work.
Oh my god, it was really bad. I don't know which one was worse. I don't know who was the fault, the actors or the wire work itself.
Yeah.
But
I think it's the director's fault because he's the one who's like, yeah, that looks good.
Yes,
good enough.
Absolutely.
Good enough.
Let's use like this all the time.
Unless they were like, we can only do this once to make it look as good as you can. Okay, we can only do this once.
Yeah, this is around the time where like America really started to get obsessed with wire work in their like kung fu movies, because like a lot of Hong Kong movies were using it. But in like a totally different kind of way. It was like more fantastical. But like as Americans like try to adopt that style, they didn't really fully understand what they were doing or what they were trying to convey.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of bad wire work in these early 90s before like movies like The Matrix.
I've seen better wire work at the BJCC with off-Broadway plays. Like, it was terrible.
yeah, actually legit. I've seen better stage play
really
wire
bad.
work. Yeah,
it was really bad.
But yeah, then they get the new powers and they go back to Earth with their
cool colored ninja suits too, right?
Yeah.
Or wait, did they get those yet?
Oh, yeah, they got the ninja suits
They got
from
it
Del
shortly
Cia.
after, which we're still unsure if it slightly powered them up or if it was just cool.
No, they're only powered when they have the mask on.
Oh
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
Mask down.
They got to
They're
say
like-
the names of the
Have the
animals
hood up
and
and the
then
mask up.
Yeah, and it just appears on their face.
Then that allows you to do a 45-foot long
Jump.
corkscrew kick.
Yeah, that you could start spinning halfway through.
You mean a ninjutsu corkscrew kick? Is that what you mean?
Sorry.
Oh yeah, Ninjetti. Yeah, that's why he screamed it out.
Ninjetti.
Ninjetti corkscrew kick.
Yeah.
There was a lot of announcing things before you do it.
Yeah.
Yo, looking at Ivan
this
Ooze's
movie.
costume like right now, though, like
It looks good.
it is not bad, dude.
No,
Like,
it's very
That was
bright.
a really impressive
fucking
thing about it,
not
yeah.
bad.
The costume looks good. It would look better in darker lighting. Out in the day, there's a lot of daytime shots in this where it really shows all the colors. So it really
Right.
looks very bright, but
Yeah.
like the effects and the prosthetics all look pretty good,
It
honestly.
did. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
imagine. Oh man, I couldn't imagine how
Everyone's
much fun it
super
would have
bright.
been to be walking around in that.
Oh
suit.
man, I'd
Offset.
love to be Ivan Ooze. He's got a pointy double.
Just be
corn on
Offset
his
messing
chin.
with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
He probably got laid. in
Ivan
that suit.
smoking a cigarette over to the side.
I would definitely try to get laid on set in that suit. I'd be a problem on set in that suit. I'd be like, "Hello, ladies. How are you? You want to come hang out with Ivan Zoo?" Doing all the bad rhymes that he was doing and shit.
yeah. He
You
would
never had a dick like this
a really
before.
bad joke this popped in my head.
That's all right. Keep it to yourself.
Tell a joke. Tell that bad
No, I
joke.
just got like a really like.
feels
What if he
obvious.
was like a terrible like Paul Freeman was a creep and he's like smells like teenagers. He's like, oh God, oh no.
Oh yeah. I'm so glad you
does
told that
here.
joke. That joke was terrible.
Just to clarify, he does say smells like teenagers.
Yeah, he does definitely say that.
But if he kept saying it like all the time, like on set, like just walking around all day.
Yeah.
Okay, Ivan.
Once is good. Once is good.
Paul, you're really freaking out.
You're freaking
all
out
the kids.
Yeah.
Actually, now that we're talking about this, you guys brought up something interesting. I'll let you clarify.
So, yeah, you're talking about the ooze and how it works or something, right?
Well, yeah, sort of, and just like why, basically why Zordon, like they could have had an opportunity to explain why Zordon uses teenagers.
They did not, by the way.
Because at first
they had an opportunity.
We started the movie.
Yeah, they had an opportunity to, but they didn't.
They didn't do it. Yeah, they could have. They could have justified it. Because when you started the movie, I said out loud, I was like, "What? It's weird to use as teenagers, right? It just feels strange. Why not adults?" And I know it's for kids, but so Ivan, in order to uncover his giant robots to fight, he takes his ooze, he makes a bunch of ooze, and then turns into a wizard, does like an snake oil salesman thing.
Right, yeah, that's
where he
right.
talks in rhymes and hands out this ooze to kids, and the kids are all like, "What's fun about it?" And he's like, "Just throw it in your parents' faces." And they're like, "That sounds cool." And they all take it, all the kids love it. And it reveals, they take it home, and one of the parents comes in, and he's like, "What is this thing?" Pulls out the ooze, and it like hypnotizes them, right?
Right.
And on the can, it says Ivan's ooze, safe for children of all ages, but it shows it affects the adults. So what was interesting to me is Zordon knew Ivan Ooze was a threat, so maybe he's using teenagers because they're not affected by his ooze magic.
Right.
And that's why he's been using teenagers this whole time to fight crime on the fear that Ivan Ooze could come back.
By George, I think he's got it.
Makes perfect sense.
It
and
does.
They totally ignore it.
Yeah, they really do.
That's all you get is it shows the adult use it, and that's it. And then he gets
they're like,
hypnotized.
"No, he's a pedophile."
That's
the reason.
Without it feels a little strange. Like,
why would you say that? No, somebody said exactly what you said. His name was Noah as well, and they were just like, Noah, no, he's a pedophile. That's what we're going with. That's why he is the way he is. Now stop making logical sense and trying to retcon our show.
It could have worked. It could have worked.
It could have definitely worked. They had a really good opportunity to I guess even enhance the stakes of Ivan.
Remember,
the show.
Nothing could change the show.
Yeah, but
even in a positive way, there was nothing.
That's a good point. That's probably exactly why they didn't.
They couldn't change.
Yeah, they could have said like, "Hey, let's do this." So that's why it justifies why Zordon's.
Yeah, I think there was a person,
and they were like, "Nah, it changes the tone of the show in a way."
Yeah, I can even see that being because it is so kind of set up perfectly. I can see that being a scene that was cut from the movie where it's like even they filmed it and they was like, we got to take this out because it kind of ruins the canon.
It still kind of suggests that.
Yeah. Right, I like that idea. I like that idea.
Maybe that little,
but then once
close up on the affects children.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe that is their little way of getting it in there. Maybe, maybe you cracked the code.
Maybe. I guess you could suggest. Well, if Ivan's defeated, then why should he continue to use teenagers afterwards?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
And, why not move on to adults or whatever afterwards? Ivan's gone now, so that threat isn't around.
Right.
He's still using teenagers.
Watch it. Well, if it ain't broke.
All right. I guess,
don't fix it. Yeah.
I guess we can retire. Right now, Zordon, we're all good. You can get some adults. We just want to live our lives as kids.
I was like, no, there's another threat out there that's...
he's even worse, and his name is Steven the Goopy.
His weakness is booty shorts.
Which, by the way, here's your new outfits. Here's your new outfits. They look good on you. You can move around in them really well.
His weakness is booty shorts. So anyway, they get these Zords.
Yeah,
they get new Zords. They get new toys, and Ivan creates a scorpion and a yellow jacket. Or something.
he
uncovers them. He uses the parents, turns them into slaves, and the parents
and then
all
uses the ooze
dig
to
up,
power
which was
them,
right next to his egg. Right, it was it was
right
all
that same
Which I will give them credit.
Yeah.
They did establish that the ooze creates electricity of some kind. So them having power, like the ooze imitate. What is it called?
Like
animating.
Fucking, it's very much like the ooze from Ghostbusters.
You can tell I've had at least 4 shots. I said imitating.
It imitates. They come to Liffey.
Animatronics. Yeah.
Animatronics.
But yeah, like he does use the ooze to give power to these like insect humanoid creatures.
Super chrome. So much
super chrome. Yeah, this is where the movie starts to dip in quality a lot.
This is where this is where it goes down. This is the bottom. This is the big drop at the roller coaster.
Yeah. Honestly, and I love Marvel. This is a Marvel Act 3 where it's just a big bad CGI fight.
Yeah.
And they show up with the Zords. They're fighting these robots. They're not doing great. The Frogman realizes his only ability is he can use his tongue.
Only got 2 buttons in here.
Only got 2 buttons.
He can jump and he can use his tongue. He still has 2 more powers than the fucking bear does.
Yeah, the bear is just bear power.
Well, the bear can stand up straight.
Yeah, the bear can stand up straight.
Yeah,
the wolf
if you want to boogie with the bear or whatever the fuck she said.
Yeah.
To be fair, they did fix all of that in the TV show, but like, damn.
Yeah.
And this is interesting too. When they combine and make the giant Zord, it's not even the actual Zord that is in the toy. I was like, it looks terrible. It really looks unfinished. Like they had to. Like
it looks so ugly.
Well, look, really look. There's a scene where the Falcon Zord, which is probably the best made Zord in the CGI, he shoots at the little scorpion.
Oh yeah,
thing, and it doesn't blow. They blow up before they actually hit him. If you look at the CGI, like he shoots the rockets, but then it blows up before it actually makes contact with the actual area.
Oh yeah, it does.
And it's just like
they're
the
very
worst.
short range missiles. I will say, we watched it and we were like, man, why does he get rocket launchers?
Yeah,
like
right.
Everybody else, Tommy's got a flying jet with a rocket launcher. Everybody else just like hits things.
It's very unpractical. He definitely has the coolest.
The crane didn't do anything. The
Start with that, Tommy. Come on.
Yeah, she just went really fast, really quickly.
Yeah, I was about to say I thought
the
crane like shooting a laser or something like that, but no, it got caught in a laser. So,
she really does nothing in that whole fight. Honestly.
Yeah. Kind of lame, but it is kind of cute that Kimberly and Tommy get to fly around in the stars. You know, they're the only ones with flying things.
I guess so.
Then later on, we get the scorpion explodes. So Ivan Ooze says he's gonna go inside the other big human.
It was.
Yeah, it's got
a yellow jacket, but it
face.
can't fly.
Yeah, the yellow jacket wings. And a human
weird
body,
bug, like chrome bug thing. That's all it kind of is.
Yeah,
it doesn't really resemble much of anything,
right,
other than buggy thing.
Yeah, it's just a buggy.
The ambiguous
guy.
insect.
Ambiguous.
The ambiguous insect.
Ambiguous.
That's what it's called. Actually, it had a name.
They had terrible names too.
Yeah, they had terrible names.
Like Xanathar and Hornatos.
Hornatos. Yeah. Yeah, it's terrible.
That is fucking bad.
They're really bad.
But Ivan goes into Horton, and then he fights the Megazord. They get their fucking ass washed until Tommy shows up. This is kind of a recurring theme. Like Bill, you had mentioned this earlier.
Honestly, they don't need anyone but Tommy.
Yeah, he's the only. He comes in and saves people all the time. Him and Billy are like.
Yeah.
So what happens is, Adam gets in trouble. Every fight scene, Adam gets in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Then Aisha gets in trouble.
Yep.
Then Kimberly gets in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then Billy shows up to help Adam. Rocky shows up to help Aisha.
Yeah.
And Tommy shows up to help Kimberly.
Yeah. Every single time.
Yeah.
It's weird how many times they do it.
And it was just so crazy. And it even happened when they in the Zords. I was like, what?
Yeah.
We're going to go with this exact same formula again?
It'd be nice to see Tommy kind of fail and get saved by some of the other Power Rangers every now and then.
Yeah. Every once in a while.
That was the Red Ranger back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red Ranger was hardly, honestly, even in this movie, it felt like.
Yeah. He's in it very little, and it's also because the weird dynamic with him and Aisha, like you said, they have the situation where Aisha gets in trouble, Rocky comes to save her, but he also always fucking fails when he does that. Because even when he comes to save her from the bone monster, he gets knocked across the room and knocked out. He comes to save her in the droid, in the Zords. He's just like hanging on dude's back until he did come to
save Adam one time, and he fell off. The rock monster dodged him, and he fell off and almost fucking died himself.
And that's got to be partially because they recast those Power Rangers, right?
Absolutely.
Like right before it.
That is
so,
fine.
and there was an interesting dynamic I felt like they had before in the show because Red Ranger was the leader.
Yeah.
And then White Ranger shows up, and it's kind of like, who's in charge now a little bit?
Yeah.
But then they just recast the Red Rangers and just make him like just the 5th Power Ranger. He's like barely even there in this whole
he's just
show.
another guy.
And Tommy's just the leader now.
Yeah. Like Billy seems like he has more like it seems like as far as like the barking orders.
Yeah,
like,
he's
Tommy
like second command.
Billy.
Yeah.
And then, or maybe Tommy, Kimberly, Billy. Maybe,
yeah, Kimberly's up there. Kimberly has a lot to like suggest and stuff like that. Which is honestly,
oh my god, that CG foot just
her helmet looks terrible too, man.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just looked up and the CGI foot of Ivan Ooze's character went through the train rail thing, and it was so bad.
It was really bad.
It didn't even hit the rail. I don't think.
Yeah, so terrible.
They upgraded this.
Really bad.
I know it's pretty. The final fight CG is just really atrocious.
It really, it's hard to watch. It's very
really
boring.
is. You lose it. You lose it really fast. And every time it cuts to Kimberly in her Power Ranger suit, I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's weird how they made her head.
She's got like a chunky. She's got like a chunky chin. She really does.
Yes, I don't know why they designed it like that.
I don't either.
It's very strange.
They could have kept the helmets the same. But they like kind of tweak the helmets a little bit.
Yeah,
they pad the suits, give it a little more armor, but it all just looks. I kind of think worse.
I also want to point out that Noah pointed out that the helmets stayed the exact same, even though they changed.
They get new animals.
Yeah,
but they still have their old dinosaur helmets on. And I guess because once the show's over, they have to go back to their same normal dinosaur outfit.
Well, actually,
they went with the different powers, so it was just a really bad
thing. They didn't have enough for 2 versions of suits, is what it feels like.
Yeah, I guess because it speaks even more to the insanity of being just like, let's make this movie, but like let's not try to change the status quo of the show, because later, obviously, like in the show, they start using these Jedi like. They have the animal avatars or whatever, and the animal Zords. So it's stupid to try to not do something.
Yeah, they just go back to their original suits. It kind of makes no sense.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Original suits, but with a different animal on the logo. So it's like dinosaur helmet.
Logo's different, but
dinosaur helmet, normal animal symbol on the chest.
And I don't know if they ended up changing the helmets later on the show, but it's
they had
very
to.
weird.
I hope they did. I hope that I'm just not a stupid
I don't remember.
child.
I feel like I would remember a wolf helmet
the whole time.
I feel like I would have remembered a wolf helmet, but
maybe they just like made it just generic. Like, oh, now they're not animal, themed. They're just like helmets. Because it is very, very weird if like the motherfucker has a like saber-toothed tiger on their face, but they're really supposed to be a bear, or dude's supposed to be a frog, and he's still got.
Triceratops.
Thing.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, I think hopefully they ended up changing it.
Yeah, it's funny. You're like, we were dinosaurs before.
Leave it in the comments.
Frog?
Did they change it? Did they change it? Who knows?
I was like 100 times the size.
Mastodon.
I was a mastodon. I was gigantic. Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, now you're a crane? What? I don't know. It's just...
Yeah, that's a downgrade.
It feels like a downgrade a little bit.
Let us know in the comments. Did they change the helmets in the TV show?
Yeah, please.
And do you think that it's a downgrade to go from a Tyrannosaurus Rex to a monkey?
Or and
or a mastodon to a frog.
I
don't think there's a question if that
Green Ranger's just gone down. Start off as a dragon, goes to lion, goes to eagle.
Yeah.
Next he's like a kitten.
He's gonna be a really cute white kitten.
Yeah, a real fluffy white kitten.
He's gonna have like the best weapons.
Yeah. Oh man.
But then the Power Rangers, they fly out to space to lure Ivan Ooze in the path of Ryan's comet. Remember that? It's 2 days later.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's coming back.
It did come around. It did come around.
It is a plot point. Then the comet comes around. It runs into Ivan Ooze, and
someone wrote this script for this one moment. I feel like they built it on this one moment. You go ahead and say it.
Wait, what? No, what were you going to say?
Well, Ivan is a giant Zord thing. He's got the Zord. Yeah. He's like, have you hugged your Zord today? Which is a stupid joke to me. They're floating in space. Have you hugged your Zord today? And he's laughing like, I've got them now. I think they're floating near the sun or something. Right, okay, and then the comet starts coming around.
Right, yeah. And then, Aisha and all of her intellect and wit and know-how, she decides like, oh, you know what? All this is new. This is our first time in all these Zords. But I do know that there is a special emergency button that we can
comes standard on every Zord.
She read the instructions.
She's reading the manual the whole fight.
Right, yeah. They did have like probably a whole day because it's 2 days later. It feels like we only passed 1 day.
No, they didn't have a whole day at all. There's no way she had time.
There's no way.
But yeah, then she pulls some levers, presses some buttons, breaks a glass, and they're like, Aisha, what are you doing? She's like, taking care of business. And the most like sassy black girl like she's been in the whole movie. She's like, taking care of business. And then she hits the button.
Emergency button. It's labeled, right? It's like that glass emergency.
And it's apparently a nut.
It says
kick.
use only in case of emergency.
Only in case of emergency.
And it's just a knee kick.
That's what I'm saying. It comes standard on every Zord. There's always a ball kick move. She smashes the buttons and the Zord. All it does is just knee Ivan right in the nuts.
And he goes pretty serious fucking explosion when he hits that comet
God.
too.
Yeah.
And he flies off. Comet hits him, right?
Yeah, we get the Star Wars explosion once he hits the comet. And the Zords the Megazords fly back to Earth after saving the day.
I'm just like, what was that? Like, who designed this Megazord that put that button on there? Like,
yeah, it's such a specific thing.
Well, also she knew it was gonna do that. Thank God she knew it was gonna do it. In the world, right? Because what if there was a bomb? And she's like, oh, I don't know. I'll press this emergency button, and the robot just like starts kicking up the air. Like, what the fuck? And then the bomb blows up. They all die. What terrible design is that?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Also, that should just be like a lever, right? Like,
yeah, it should be just
moving
like,
the legs with like keyboards or something.
Yeah,
just ridiculous.
That was the most ridiculous part of this.
Well,
movie.
Like the whole show's ridiculous, right? The whole movie's ridiculous.
Yeah, the whole movie is.
But
insane.
that feels like such a stupid thing to throw in there.
It was mad silly.
It's very specifically like, yeah, it's not an intricate move.
Right. Well, it's just there's not much.
They barely got those Zords looking like Zords.
It really
dude.
did.
Like,
it looked
I'm
really
so
bad.
surprised that they were even able to do a knee groin kick.
Yeah,
like
because I had that Zord as an action figure growing up, and I knew it did not look like that.
Yeah,
I knew it did not look like that.
Yeah, it definitely didn't look that bad. But they managed to beat the bad guys and fly back to Earth. Everything is turned back to normal. All the parents are snapped out of their haze. I think we forgot to mention that
one of the kids
Ivan
saves them.
Right, yeah. Ivan tells all the parents to leap to their dooms after they unearth the Metamorphicons.
He's done with them. Yeah.
And then one of the kids who was there, who's like, I guess, like friends with the Rangers.
Yeah. He shows up to all the other kids who are just having the best fucking time with that ooze.
Yeah, right.
They're just like throwing it on each other.
Yeah,
like
we're just
anything
having
you
a
can
fucking
think of.
ooze orgy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He gives a big speech and he's like, your parents are gonna die. And then he lures them all there. The parents are walking to their doom. He's like, you guys try to stop them while I do something. And the kids are pushing their parents, like trying to stop like lemmings from jumping off the cliff. And he gets like a fire hose and sprays them all down. It should have really hurt and fucked up some kids.
Yeah, it should really, like getting sprayed with a fire hose hurts a lot. It's a lot of pressure.
Also, stupid part of this movie.
Also stupid. I mean, yeah.
But
so terrible.
But they beat Ivan. They destroy Ivan and his ooze, and then they get back, and Zordon he's dead. You know why he's dead? Because they spent too much fucking time bullshitting around.
Yeah.
And they didn't get back to the crib in time. But luckily,
shouldn't have spent that time reading the manual.
Luckily, exactly. Shouldn't have spent all that time reading the manual for a knee to the groin. But they get back just in the nick of time, but not in the nick of time. Because he's dead when they get back. Zordon is dead.
Unfortunately.
And then the credits roll.
But Alpha 5. But Tommy, being Tommy, he's like, we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Oh yeah, whoever has the power can do anything.
Do anything. We got the great power, fool.
Without the power,
we got that White Ranger
Jesus
privilege.
Christ. Yeah. Don't you see? The power was
and they
Jesus
hold
Christ.
hands around
Anything
Zordon.
is possible. Oh, here comes Tommy again.
Oh, jeez.
Toting that Jesus.
That's just what it reminded me of.
But yeah, he just like touch. They all touch each other's hands.
They circle around
Zordon, touch hands. Touch hands. Let's all touch hands.
Y'all
want to touch hands? Touch hands.
Emerges
Let's all
from their
touch
chest.
We're supposed to touch hands. Let's all touch hands.
Yeah.
Touch hands.
Is that what we're doing? Then they use the great power to bring Zordon back to life.
And it reverses everything. It doesn't just bring him back to life. It rewinds time.
Everything.
Yeah.
Look,
It
rewinds time. It rewinds
straight
time
up
because
rewinds
that's
time.
how they cheaply did this shit. Look, we're just going to reverse this shit.
Yeah, it fixes all the damage. It cleans the bathroom.
There's a lot of rewinding in this show, honestly. They'll have an animation and they'll, at the very end of it, I guess it's never quite long enough for the scenes. They're always just like, hey, just take that last 15 seconds and just rewind it for a second.
Yeah.
So Zordon like looks and does that weird.
Yeah, or that weird clip. Yeah.
I'm looking at all of you like I've never seen you all before.
The director's like, don't worry, I got a trick in the bag. Works every time.
The old reverse. That was definitely like wrought from like the famous phrase, "We'll fix it in post."
Oh yeah,
and then you did.
If you guys have ever seen the guy Saban, he is absolutely a fucking character, and I know he would have had a lot of hands on during this process.
Right.
He probably was one of those people who was like, "Yeah, just let it do it again. We'll just do it.
just rewind.
We'll just rewind and process, and then it's okay."
Right. Yeah, like there's a lot of money being saved on this movie, but there's still some things that looks still pretty impressive.
The sets were good.
I
thought the villains' costumes were good.
Yeah, the villains' costumes were really good.
I really hated the way the Rangers kind of look. They look real clunky and
okay, yeah.
They all kind of look pudgy because of the armor. I feel like
right. Yeah, I remember. I actually like the armor. We talked about this before, like off pod, but like I did like how it just looked more like it armor rather than spandex.
Yeah.
But what did you think, Bill? Did you like the costuming and like the armor?
Yeah, I liked all the costumes, the armor, everything. Everything was great as far as anything that was practical in this.
Yeah, the practical
was actually pretty fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely did a lot with that.
They had like the dude's bones on the island, or like on the coast rocks.
Yeah.
Thing when they got there, and that showed like a different element of this world that we are not aware of. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I liked all of the practical nature of this movie, but everything that was not practical was pretty bad.
I will say, as far as the practical ones, it is weird they added in like a pig character that I don't think is there normally.
Yeah.
And he looks like the goofiest one out of all of them.
Yes, he was the worst one.
Even Goldon looks cool compared to... Like, Goldon, he never changes expressions, but I still feel like he's like a creature.
Yeah. He's an interesting design.
He has a monocle. Like,
I don't know what's going on with that character.
I even liked how they kept Rita's mouth not moving with her. Actually.
Yeah, that was a cool touch, actually.
How they did that. I like that. I like that.
Cool. Although they did do a lot of stuff where like, Rita, shut up. You're just a woman. That felt like it felt sexist to me.
There were
she
some
was
like
doing
weird
a lot
sexist
of
moments.
like, finally a real man.
Yeah,
she was a lot of that.
But then he like throws slime on her mouth and makes her shut up.
It's like, oh, finally something shut her up. Yeah, there was like a lot of like,
sexist.
there's a lot of weird gender politics going on in this movie.
And Rita feel like a really toxic white trash like family, like husband and wife.
It's a very honeymooner situation going on between,
but not funny. Not Rita. Funny.
Yeah, and an abusive mommy got hit by daddy at the dinner table.
We're still just trying to eat. Yeah, I did like the design of Zed, like with like the weird metal exoskeleton.
Yeah. He always looked like that. I always liked his shit.
He looks like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, definitely looks like that in the show. But I'm just. And same with Goldon. He's still the design for the show.
Yeah,
but just all the practical stuff still looked impressive.
Yeah.
Then I guess it's time to decide.
Big question. Yeah.
It's the moment of truth. It's the moment of truth.
Does it hold up? Like, guys, at the end of every show, we vote to see whether the film holds up or not. Now, this is not necessarily to say whether it's like a great movie, like it's like or perfect or well done, like necessarily, but does it still evoke the same emotions?
Before you finish,
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
Would y'all sitting like that? Just sit back up, a little straight, Noah. It looks like they're split screened almost. If Noah brings,
I'm here. Arm. I'm actually here. Can you make my arm disappear?
It's like CGI did.
It does.
I'm really
look like
here.
A little bit
okay. I'm a real person, everyone. I'm a real person, everyone. I'm a real person, everyone.
But also, people, you also get a chance to make a choice, you fellow drunk Panthers. You got a chance to vote also in the comments.
Go watch it.
These movies hold up? Does this movie hold up? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we're very curious what you guys think. Like, does the movie hold up to you? What was your first initial reaction when you first saw it? Like way back in the day when you were just a wee child. But yeah, like this is what our decisions on this and our voting isn't necessarily like whether it's a great made movie. Just like does it still evoke that same emotion like it did? Like do you still enjoy it? Like you can still recognize that it's not a great movie, but did you still have a good time? Do you still have as good of a time as you did when you were a kid? Now I don't know if anybody wants to volunteer to go first.
I'll go first.
Yeah, you want to go first, Bill?
No, you should go first.
Hey, you want me to go first?
You should go first.
Hold on.
Yeah, now, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, let's do it again. Let's do it. Does it hold up?
Alex. For me, I went back and forth on this a couple of times, like while watching it, and also like while we were talking about it, because there are a lot of things that I did really dig about it, and especially like since you're not supposed to be getting a lot from it. But on the whole, it's still just not like enjoyable. Like I don't see myself watching this ever again. It's not very enjoyable. Like even the fight scenes are like just a little bit too much. Just give me a second. Like,
you gotta give your answer first, then you tell us why.
He wants a yes or no.
It does not hold up.
Does it hold up?
It does.
But yeah. But yeah, like for the reason why it doesn't hold up is like I was saying, it's just like some of the fight scenes aren't like as good as you would expect it to be in like a movie that's so focused on fight scenes. There are like a lot of times during the fight scenes where I ended up getting bored. Some of the moves are pretty cool. Some shots are pretty interesting, and there's some jokes that are surprisingly good, and the acting is surprisingly good. And Ivan Ooze definitely makes it watchable, like all the way through. Mm-hmm. But for me, it just doesn't hold up to me.
Fair,
but yeah,
you know what?
Who wants to go next?
Yep, go ahead, Noah.
You want me to go next?
Noah.
Okay.
The question is, does it hold up?
I gotta get the cadence down. Yeah. Does it hold up? Okay. But you gotta throw away the is. Yeah. Oh man, I will say, just to be clear, no. I don't think it holds up. I will say, I mean, going into it, it was pretty much exactly what I expected it was gonna be, but actually, it kind of felt like even less. Like watching it and being like, wow, there's literally nothing, no emotional ties with the characters. The characters don't change at all. The only reason to watch it is to see Ivan Ooze be ridiculous. He's the only thing that kind of makes it hold together.
Right.
And then the third act is just kind of trash. And I don't think it held up when it came out. But I get why it
not according to Roger Ebert.
Roger Ebert said it was as close to nothing as you could be with and still say you have a product.
Yeah, like it's pretty.
You walk away from it and nothing has changed about you or the characters or anything. You're just like, yeah, they fought, I guess, and then that was the end of it.
Yep. Nothing actually happened to the Power Rangers.
There are movies where I feel like that kind of happens. Like I kind of think the John Wick movie is almost like that sometimes. There was just like, does he beat the bad guy? Yeah, that's like the whole plot. But John Wick, I feel like I'll watch a few times and over again, and I still like enjoy moments and things. This one is just kind of like, I couldn't help but want to talk through it because I couldn't like just wasn't pulled in at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's like maybe one or two little moments where I feel pulled in. But it's so few and far between.
Yeah,
gotta say no. It doesn't hold up for me.
All right, Bill, what do you think?
Well, the question is, Alex,
Does it hold up?
And the answer is hell to the no, Bobby. Hell to the motherfucking no. I will say,
guys.
Maybe a child would enjoy this.
Yeah.
Maybe a child would enjoy this.
A kid could like it.
Big maybes.
Because it's
the
just
CGI. I think the kid would still be falling out around the same time that we did. Like, I think the kid would be like at the third act, like, yo, what the hell is going on with these terrible graphics? Like, this doesn't look
really
good at
bad.
all.
Yeah.
It looked so bad, and nothing really happened at the end. So I would say, except for the comet. Ryan's comet,
famously.
So didn't hold up for many of the reasons y'all said, but also for another reason. Y'all we all kind of touched on it already, but like not moving the characters along in any way and not trying to like change anything about the show drastically affected the possibilities for this movie.
Yeah, all emotional ties are cut.
Yeah.
Everything. And it's called Power Rangers, not Ivan's Ooze. Now, they should have probably called it Power Ranger Movie Ivan's Ooze, or our Ivan's Ooze, the Power Ranger movie.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Maybe
something like
some
that.
of the work off of the perception off of the actors, the main characters, because it's really not a Power Ranger movie. It's an Ivan Ooze movie.
Yeah,
it really
Power
is.
Rangers in it.
Yeah, you're watching it for him.
Yeah, this is one of those is a very strange movie where the characters the main characters don't really have an arc.
Yeah,
or like any sort of like an emotional tie. Even like in the Captain America movies, like people like it's interesting that character doesn't necessarily have an arc because he's already like a perfect moral person. So he doesn't necessarily have an arc in those movies, but you still have an emotional tie. He still has obstacles and stuff. With the Power Rangers in these movies, is like it just seems so boring and blasé. Like there's nothing really interesting about any of them except for Adam, like we were saying before, just because he gets shit on for being like, but he's incapable.
He's also just not incapable. He's not capable. That's his character in the TV show.
Right.
So.
It could have been interesting if they had there's no stakes for the Power Rangers. They lose their powers, and there's a moment where they're like, oh, this sucks. We don't have powers anymore. How do we get by? It almost feels like it would have been interesting if they still tried to defeat Ivan Ooze. I mean, yes. And then at the end, they redeem their powers and get it back.
Yeah.
But they literally have their powers, lose their powers for 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Just really one scene, they don't have their powers.
And then
Power
they get
Rangers,
them back.
Power Rangers. I'd just like to say this, Power Rangers, the movie. You're the first one on our show, technically. And you're the first loser.
Yeah.
Don't hold up.
Sorry to say.
Couldn't hold you up with
duct tape.
I couldn't hold you up with
Schwarzenegger's shoulders.
I couldn't hold you up with Atlas's shoulders. No, we could have Arnold Schwarzenegger and The Rock on both sides, and we couldn't hold you up. You know why? It's because you're made of ooze, baby. It's because you're made of ooze.
It's because it's ooze, baby.
If you're doing a character study on villains, just enjoying villains, I think it's a good one to watch. If you just want to pull it, hey, this is a fun villain to watch or whatever. In a way, the Power Rangers are almost like the antagonists because you're really kind of rooting for Ivan. He's the most fun one.
Yeah.
And so the Power Rangers are the obstacle for Ivan,
right?
Instead of the other way around.
I feel like if you are an actor, if you're getting ready to try to be a villain in a new role, you've never been a villain
and you just
before.
want a wacky guy,
and you just want to go just to see what you should do, kind of a tone that you want to keep. Definitely go watch this. Also watch Demolition Man, which we will be covering on this show.
Yeah, we'll be covering that eventually too. We got to get a guest on so we can help us rate this, a vote on whether it holds up or not. But yeah, any final thoughts you guys had about the movie before we get up out of here? Or you guys excited about the new Power Rangers movie that's coming out?
Not after watching that.
I didn't even know there was a new one coming out.
Yeah, there's a new one on Netflix.
Is
that's
it
coming out,
set in that same? Because we just had a big action movie. It was probably 5 years ago, 6, 7, 10 years ago.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's set in the same world. It has
Is that universe of Power Rangers?
The actor who played the Black Ranger is in the movie.
So it's kind of a sequel.
From the old. I don't know. I haven't watched the trailer.
Okay.
What is? Do you know what the setting is for like this new movie?
We're not talking about this movie right now. We're not going to talk about this movie on this show.
I've never heard anything.
I've told you I don't even want to talk about the movie now because we just watched this movie. So now
you're Power Rangered out.
I don't even want to talk about Power Rangers no more. I'm getting a headache.
That's fair.
I feel like I've been wearing one of them god awful helmets all fucking day.
But guys,
sorry, I said I like the helmets.
Yeah, they look good. Some of them look okay. But I'm sure that they're very uncomfortable to wear.
They look terrible.
But guys, thanks for watching. We do this every once in a while. Don't forget to watch and listen to the Drunk Banthas podcast.
Check it out.
You can find it on Twitter. You can find us on Twitter, IG, TikTok, likewise, iTunes, Spotify, Letterboxd, all the internet things at the Drunk Banthas. But until next time, stay safe, my little Power Rangers. And may the Force be with you.